Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Morning Minutes, episode 269. Give me my freaking deposit back. You're here with myself, Michael Burgio, Mark Novak. Deposits, it's a big one. A lot of people don't know what the rules are. There's so many rules, and you hear so many different things about when you get a deposit back, when you don't get a deposit, when's it payable. So let's run it from the top. Start it from the top.
Broken hearts.
Broken
if they
heart.
don't get the property, it's always broken hearts. So it's different in it, and what makes it tricky is it's different in every business, and how deposits are handled in travel, or how they're handled in shopping, or how they're handled in real estate is all very different, regulated in different ways. Morning, Jeff. So real estate deposits, what I would say the key thing to watch out for, it's not the law, but the key thing to watch out for with any deposit, even not in real estate, is what you sign. So if you're signing something in association with that deposit, normally you're signing away that part or all of that deposit. So you've got to be really, really careful. Well, let's start, Michael, with...
A little rule of thumb. Yes. Good morning, Nikki. Yep. Good to have you on the main channel so we can see the comments. Perfect. So I think almost a rule of thumb, because a lot of people go, oh, when I sign, do I pay? Or when I pay, do I lose it? Rule of thumb, you've got to do both. If you paid but you haven't signed, or you've signed but you haven't paid, neither mean anything, really. So I think a good rule of thumb is you got to do both together. But let's start with commercial, with deposits. When are they payable and when are they not refundable? So let's talk about sales. A big difference with buying commercial property compared to residential, there's generally no cooling off period. Rule of thumb, no cooling off.
Can you repeat that one? Because that one is going to shock a lot of people and surprise a lot of even real estate agents that are in residential. Can you say it again?
No cooling off period, no 5-day cooling off. In a normal residential contract, it's written in there, standard cooling off. Unless you've got a 66W, It's got a cooling off period. Commercial property does not have that. So
automatically gone skis.
Automatically, so you pay a 10%, a 10% deposit, sign the contract, exchange, sold. But where it is refundable is sometimes with a commercial property, a sale contract is not required to market a property for sale, to show a property. Residential, you need an agency agreement and a contract to sale. Commercial, you just need none. No. You need an agency agreement, but you do not need a contract to sale. So what an owner will occasionally set, what happens quite often, a buyer will make an offer subject to reviewing the contract of sale, but an owner will request the buyer to pay a good faith, F-A, faith, deposit.
We are going to talk about residential in a sec, so if there's anyone watching, we're getting on to that in a moment.
Yes. A good faith deposit that will sit in the trust account. It can be $1,000. It can be $5,000, normally 10% or 5%, just to keep it easier. Reason is you don't need a contract for marketing. Sometimes the contracts are quite big, quite expensive, a lot of leases. Like a sale contract, residential marks, what, $1,500, $2,000. Yep. Commercial could be $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 potentially.
Why would someone pay a deposit on something that there's not even a contract on? Like, you say good faith deposit, what does that mean?
It means you will get the money back if you pull out, but
why would you pay it though? Why would you even put it in? Like, what's the motivation?
A lot of owners get there's a lot of time wasters, and a lot of owners are quite reluctant to execute order a contract of sale for it. So they want to see you've got skin in the game before they spend $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000. They want at least to know that you're serious and you got a price agreed. And that's just how it is a lot of the time.
Yep.
It's one of those. I think
certainly,
it's inherently.
And it's refundable, so it's a cheap way to show that you are deadly serious on purchasing the property. I did one last week.
Yeah,
where the
same
deposit,
thing.
where the person deposited $2.6 million to show how serious they were, and boy, did that get the attention. It was completely refundable. It was a deposit, and boy, did that get the attention of the seller.
A lot of the time, it's a strategy from the buyer to show I'm the serious buyer, because a lot of the time in commercial, they will deal on a handshake. Yep, I'm selling to you. Show me, like, put the money in, and we'll get the paperwork sorted.
Okay. Now
Residential.
we're dealing with deposits here. So, are they going to get their deposit back if they do a good faith deposit? Yes.
Yes, 100%
Are
back.
they going to on commercial? Are they going to get their deposit back if they sign a contract and pay that deposit? No.
Up until exchange. Sometimes there's delays with one owner. So remember, up until exchange.
Good point. So even if they've signed a contract and paid a deposit until the contract's countersigned, so the vendor, the seller has signed and exchanged, up until that point, they can get the deposit back.
Yes. So as an agent, as an owner, whoever's more keen for the deal, you definitely try and exchange it as quick as you can once you got everything, because you sit on it for a day, deal could be dead the next day, and nothing's binding. You got to keep in mind there's a lot. Yeah, residential, Mark.
Well, could we do commercial leasing while we're still on commercial leasing deposits? Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go through it quickly because it is a lot more in depth. So commercial leasing, if it's a retail shop under the Retail Act, so let's say you got a lease agreed, offer agreed, you pay generally 1 month's rent, 1 month deposit up front, and then it goes. Then it goes to lawyers. Let's say for whatever reason you pull out during the lawyer phase, because this can be 1 day to 1 month from offer accepted to lease being signed. If it's a retail property, you get the deposit back if you pull out. Now, if it's a commercial property, warehouse or office, if you pull out, sometimes the owner can withdraw the legal costs. So if they spent $2,000 sending you a lease and you paid a $4,000 deposit, they can take $2,000 off that, and then you get the balance back.
Most heavily relied upon is what was written in the heads of agreement as well,
and why you pulled out. So let's say where it gets a little complicated, if you all had everything agreed in the heads of agreement, but then you tried to renegotiate the rent, then you're less likely to get your deposit back. But if you pull out for a reason of something unreasonable in the lease document that hadn't been discussed prior, for example, I don't know, aircon maintenance, like that, let's say it could cost you 10 grand a year. It wasn't discussed and you just couldn't agree on a couple wording terms. Then sometimes you get your deposit back minus legal. Sometimes you get it all back. Good morning, Admiral. Bit of a grey area, case by case, but watch what you signed in the heads of agreement.
Residential leasing. Do you get your deposit back if you put a deposit? So you find a rental property, you fill out the application, the agent says you're approved, can we take your deposit? Do you get that back?
I think it's more for you with the timing, because once you put it down, is it a good faith deposit until something happens? How does it? I think it's a no, isn't it? Well,
it's a no. It's a no. Yeah, 1 week, you'll lose 1 week.
Devil advocate here. Is that 1 week because you're losing it because it's 1 week because the agent? But what's the legal right to take that? Because obviously you've just heard what commercial works like, good faith up until it's signed. Like is that legislation, or is it because you've taken it offline? Like, or do they sign something saying they lose it?
They do say if marketing's continued, that it can't be taken. They do say that they don't want to see discontinuation of marketing for the benefit of the applicant, and
I think it's in an application that says you forfeit if you pull out, doesn't it? That's where it's written.
Well, it's not written. It's not written, which is really careful. Now, just on
Yeah,
that,
I didn't mean it's better than the works. I was just
if it's a tenant that really wants to have an arm wrestle over that deposit, you'd be surprised how far they can go and how successful they can be. Hate admitting it. Hate admitting it, but it's just, believe it or not, it's probably one of the most unregulated parts of our industry.
Yeah.
That deposit. So
just in that defense, a lot of the time when a deposit's taken, a lease is drawn up, the property's taken off the market, they don't show it sometimes. So sometimes realestate.com's, a lot of agents just say deposit taken, or they just lose a week or two, which I think sometimes where that feels bad.
And look, guys, I know we're skating on the law and being very, very analytical about this, but to bring in a bit of common sense, a bit of equity, and a bit of emotion into the whole thing, you're taking someone's 1 week holding deposit. Like 1 week's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Equally from a tenant side. From a landlord side, they've got an asset worth $500,000 or $1 million that you've just frozen for a week. So you've taken it off the market. They can't get it rented. They've lost the momentum for it. So I think on balance, if you sort of work out, well, hey, like seriously, guys, I know this is a lot of money to a prospective. It's a lot of money.
Yeah, and it's not
equally
like
audio.
It's not like and this is where good faith. I think you can still use the terminology, because if you've said yes to it, you pay a deposit, 20 minutes later, you change your mind. It's not like, no, screw you, you've lost it. But you're right. Sometimes people take a property on Monday and they say, we'll sign the lease on Friday. You've lost a week, or it's dragged out even longer. So rule of thumb, lose the deposit, but case by case.
Yep.
Sales.
Spot on. Sorry, I just got to cut out. That was smooth, Mr. Novak. See that? I cut out my Bluetooth and I put my headset in, like a fixed headset in, really fast, like a ninja.
That just went from volume 5 to volume 15 on my end.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's super loud.
This is plugged in. Okay, so now let's talk about resi sales deposits.
I'll be the buyer.
Okay, buyer.
So knock knock. I want to buy the property. We've accepted $500,000 sale price.
Yes.
I want to do it on a cooling off period. So I pay.
Okay.
What do I pay?
Okay, cooling off period. Standard in a contract is a cool off period, super standard, and it's 5 business days. All you pay is, you don't have to pay the 10% deposit. All you pay is the 0.25% of the deposit.
So I'm $500,000 paying $1,250.
Yeah, on what price?
500,000 for this example.
Okay, cool. Now, based on the back of that, the good news is that you're going to be given time to do a strata search, get finance approved, get a bank valuation, get all that stuff done in 5 business days exclusively. Even if another purchaser comes along and says they want to pay 10,000 more or 5,000 more than you have contracted the property to you. You've locked in the property to you for that period.
But I've got to sign.
You got to sign that puppy after you pay the 0.25. Yeah.
And the owner as well. So both sign.
Exchange.
Yeah. And we exchange the contract.
Exchange of contract.
Okay. And then after, let's say the strata report's no good.
Okay, strata report no good. You're going to pull out of the property. You're going to lose that $1,000, unfortunately. But you were given exclusive rights to the property for 5 business days.
So not like the ones we spoke about previously that we can negotiate. That's written in the contract, default, gone.
Hard. Yeah, that's a hard not negotiable. Then you've got a 10% deposit. Now, out of interest, guys and girls, a 10% deposit is you've just locked the property in, you've done your strata, Yeah. Oh, by the way, that 0.25% deposit will go towards the purchase of the property. Should you purchase the property, so you don't lose it if you buy, it goes towards the deposit of the property as a deposit. But if you buy the property with a 10% down deposit and the property is exchanged with unconditional, no cooling off, then what's the good news?
The good news, it's sold, it's yours. There's no back and forth.
Yep. It's your little puppy. Now, with that, bearing that in mind, it is your little puppy. That 10% is definitely not refundable. It's not limited to the 10%. So if you pull out and you don't go ahead, they will take that 10% plus damages.
Yeah. So
now,
really,
how many times have you seen that?
I've never had it personally, but I think there's been one or twice, but only with off the plan. I think we had one or two examples.
Yeah.
It's very rare. Generally,
very rare. So out of every 1,000 transactions that we witness, you probably would not get one person doing that. It is really, really rare. I would say about one in 3,000 transactions we would see that.
Yeah.
What's Michael Edwards got to say?
Tenants think that landlord.
He's always got lots to say.
Yeah, he's a good man.
He's fun.
Tenants think landlords are rich, but most of them walking a fine line, one or two mortgages. Property is not a huge portfolio that can be absorbed a week's rent, 100%. And we're seeing this during COVID, aren't we, Mark? There's so much going on the tenant side, and landlords are bleeding.
Yep. Now, something we should also mention that Michael's triggered me on is all of these deposits agents don't benefit from.
Yep.
All of these deposits agents do not benefit from. The beneficiaries are the property owners, the landlords or the sellers. Very
true, because I think there's a misconception in the marketplace, just to wrap it up in a couple of minutes. There is that misconception in the marketplace. Yeah. Agent gets the money. Agent gets the commissions. The agent's keep me my money. Screw the agent. Give me my money.
My money.
Give me my money. Yeah. But like, go through a good faith deposit. When someone pays a good faith deposit, like, it's so highly regulated, isn't it?
Yep. Super. So guys and girls, just remember that. And I think that's a wrap on deposits.
What about questions? Hang on. And what about agent's commission after 10% is paid? Okay, this is a good one.
That's a good one.
Because I've had this a couple of times. I've had this. Yeah. Actually, I did have a deal fall through. The commercial one, Harbord Road.
Who?
The Harbord Road for 2.5. So to answer Anmar's question about agent's commission, the way agreements are written, technically, well, the way it's written here, technically, your fee is payable on exchange. Is payable on exchange. Your job is you're entitled. You're entitled to your fee on exchange, because that's what it says. I'm in executing the contract. But you just
most agents' agreements, most
is paid that way. Because I had a deal in Harbord Road where it was exchanged, the buyer didn't settle, but the way the agreement's written is basically our job is done once they execute a contract, and if the buyer doesn't go through, because the owner keeps the 10% deposit and we take it.
So effectively, like, the owner gets 8%, we get 2%, and that's and then we go again. Yeah. So normally it's actually a bit of a win-win for the agent and a win-win for the owner, providing they can sell that property for the same value and not 8% less, and no greater than 8% less. The owner's actually in a neutral or a better position.
Yes. Good morning, Bill. How are you? And as Admiral says, we are still entitled to our fee. What I see quite often in commercial, a deposit would be released. It's quite a large deals. So you exchange unconditional, the deposit goes to the vendor, but as the agent, we take our fee on exchange. Because just like it would happen on settlement, the deposit's released to the owner, we take our fee. A lot of time in commercial, we can get it on exchange because instead of the deposit sitting in our trust account, it goes directly to the owner, and we're entitled to it, so we can take it. Because the reality is, if it settles or doesn't settle, our fee's still payable. So,
yeah, and just a message out there to everyone who's with fees, particularly if you're real estate agents, just be careful about releasing of deposits. The Law Society doesn't recommend they get released. They recommend they stay as a stake for the purchaser and the vendor in a trust account, in a regulated trust account by an agent or a solicitor of a vendor. But don't get them released. It's broken hearts normally.
And if you do have your fee held, either get paid your fee or have the fee held in trust. No amount is worth chasing. Take it firsthand. It doesn't matter if that fee is $300,000. If they don't want to pay you, it will cost you more to potentially chase it. So basically, have the fee paid. If the deposit gets paid, fee stays in trust or gets paid, but never release it, or don't settle for getting paid on settlement because they don't.
Very complex deposits, very complex, but hopefully we've cleared it up a little bit for peeps out there today, consumers. It's not really spoken about much besides until shit hits the fan. So if we can arm people up, prepare people up a little bit more by talking about it today, I hope we have.
Yeah, lots of questions that came in. I didn't scroll down. There we go. Never released. Yeah, as Bill says, never released a deposit with us, written undertaken from. Yep. Michael Edwards.
Bill, I still wouldn't do it with a written undertaking from a solicitor. I still wouldn't do it.
Yeah, no, unless you get paid.
Unless you get paid.
Yeah, off topic. At Reality, now paying their agent's commission on unconditional exchange. Thoughts? What was that? Off topic, but is that Realty? Is that another agency?
Paying agent's commission on unconditional exchange. Yeah. Look, we do it, but when deposits are released, there are companies that are doing it for real estate agents. They're getting paid on exchange. I think if agents are running their business like that, I would be worried about those real estate agents. I don't think it's a good sound business practice to be paying a clip to paid on exchange companies. So anyone who's watching that's not a real estate agent, agents can get paid by a third party provider on exchange, but they lose a percentage of their commission. Not a good idea. Not good for cash. Not good if you can't cash flow. Waiting 6 weeks for a commission to come in for a business, you shouldn't be in business.
It's the first sign of shit hitting the fan, really. I remember Tom Paddle's talking about this. Talking about Nikki. Thanks as always. Thank you very much for watching, Nikki, and interacting. Love it. Admal, as always. Speak to you all soon. Got to wait until the order of the agent. Not on settlement.
Order on the agent. Order on the agent didn't help us either.
Yeah.
Undertaking from a solicitor or order on the agent, still not secure enough. We've happened to us. We've been hit by a $250,000 commission not coming into the office, had to pursue it absolutely vigorously, and I've got to tell you, none of those things helped.
Yeah, so when we say no, it's coming from. If you want to speak more, Admo, you can just give me a call for the details. Same as you, Bill, because everything you've suggested, we had it and it doesn't help. So no, just don't even try.
Just don't release it. Yeah, just do not release it once if it's a stakeholder and it's part of your agreement.
That's a wrap. Long one today. Thank you very much, guys.
See ya.
Cheers. Bye.
Bye.